1 to 3, the rain fell like the city itself was mourning. A cold grey curtain draped over the cemetery where the richest man in the country was about to bury his wife. Isabella Cross, socialite, philanthropist, beauty beyond magazines, declared dead after a mysterious collapse in their private mansion, while black umbrellas formed a perfect circle around a marble coffin that cost more than most people's homes. And standing at the center was Victor Cross, billionaire industrialist, face carved from stone, eyes dry, hands steady, because men like him did not cry in public, not when cameras watched, not when politicians whispered behind him, not when business rivals pretended sympathy while calculating stock movements. And as the priest cleared his throat to begin the final prayer, a sound shattered the silence, not thunder, not grief, but the grinding growl of a garbage truck crawling toward the cemetery gates, heads snapping in disbelief as guards rushed forward shouting, until the truck stopped with a violent hiss and a man jumped down, wearing an orange vest soaked with rain, boots caked in filth, hair grey and wild, face lined by years of hardship, and when he shouted, his voice cut through the air like a blade, "Stop the funeral!" "She's not dead!" Gasps erupted. Guards grabbed him. Mourners protested. Victor Cross turned slowly, fury flashing across his face, demanding the man be removed. But the garbage collector screamed again, louder, desperate, "You can't bury her. I heard her breathing." Laughter followed, cruel, dismissive laughter, but the man fell to his knees, shaking, swearing on his dead wife's grave that he had heard a woman crying from inside the trash compactor behind the cross. Estate 2 nights earlier, crying for help, whispering Victor's name, and something in that moment, perhaps the rain, perhaps the madness of grief, made Victor hesitate, and that hesitation would change everything, because Victor Cross, the man who owned judges and newspapers, suddenly remembered the night Isabella collapsed, how quickly the doctors arrived, how rapidly the death certificate was signed, how strangely calm his personal physician had been. And when Victor ordered the coffin opened, chaos exploded as families screamed and lawyers protested. But money bends reality, and when the lid finally lifted, the crowd froze, because Isabella's lips were slightly parted, and there, barely visible, was a faint fog against the glass mask placed over her face. A breath, a living breath, and in that instant, the garbage collector had saved a life. And the billionaire realized he had nearly buried his wife alive. But what no one yet understood, what the garbage collector was too afraid to say, was that he hadn't just heard her breathing. He had heard her begging him to run, because the people who wanted her dead were standing right there among the mourners, smiling politely, and as sirens wailed and the coffin was rushed away, Victor locked eyes with the garbage collector, and 2 to 3 in those eyes, Victor saw terror mixed with guilt, as if the man knew more than he was saying. And if you think this story ends here, you're wrong, because what the garbage collector would reveal next would expose a conspiracy so dark it would destroy a billionaire empire. And if you want to hear how a forgotten man with nothing but a garbage truck and a conscience brought the powerful to their knees, make sure you subscribe now, because Chapter 2 will change everything you think you know about loyalty, greed, and the price of truth. They tried to silence him immediately, offering the garbage collector, whose name was Elias, a stack of cash thicker than his life savings, threatening prison, threatening his family, threatening disappearance. But Elias had lived invisible for 50 years, and invisibility had taught him one thing. When you have nothing, fear loses its power. And as Isabella was rushed into a private medical wing under heavy security, Victor Cross ordered a quiet investigation, not trusting his own doctors, not trusting his board, not trusting anyone, because Elias revealed the truth in pieces, like pulling glass from a wound, explaining how for months he had collected waste from the Cross estate, how he had noticed bags labeled medical disposal, dumped on nights when no surgeries were scheduled, how he once saw Isabella arguing with Victor's younger brother Julian over documents marked trust amendment, how on the night Isabella collapsed, Elias heard shouting, glass breaking, and later found a vial in the trash labeled with a paralytic drug used to induce temporary death-like states, a drug that slows breathing to near nothing, a drug used only in extreme medical research. And when Victor confronted his brother, Julian didn't deny it, he laughed, revealing that Isabella had planned to leave Victor, expose offshore accounts, donate billions to causes Victor publicly supported but secretly despised. And Julian had arranged everything, the drug, the doctor, the staged death, because dead women don't testify, and billionaires don't lose control. But the garbage collector had ruined it all. And what followed was not justice, but war, legal, financial, psychological, as Victor Cross realized too late that power without conscience rots from within. And in a move that shocked the world, he handed over evidence, dismantled his empire, testified against his own blood, and when reporters asked why, Victor said only one sentence: "A man who cleans our trash reminded me what humanity looks like." And Elias, once ignored, once invisible, refused reward money, asking instead for funding for workers, hospitals and shelters, while Isabella, alive but scarred, stood beside him, proving that truth doesn't always come from palaces but from the shadows we refuse to see. And as this story spread across the world, people asked themselves how many voices they ignore every day, how many Eliases they pass without listening. And if this story moved you, 323 shook you, or made you question the world we live in, subscribe to this channel now, because here we don't just tell stories, we uncover truths hidden beneath power, wealth and silence, and the next story might just change the way you see everything.